Chapter 13, 5 Methods for Working on Yourself. The Living Love Way to Higher Consciousness offers you 5 methods that you can use in working on yourself. These methods have been chosen for busy people who are deeply involved in various dramas of life. They do not detach you from your daily routines. The Living Love methods can be used while you are engaged in running a business, making love, cleaning the house, or watching a movie. These methods take you into your life situations and require you to view the people and things around you as teachers, but you are really your master teacher all the time. When you use these 5 methods continuously in your moment-to-moment daily life, you will find a turned-on satisfaction in your daily stream of consciousness. You will experience a liberation that you have always wanted, but have not been able to find in life before. You will find true freedom from the computer-like programming that separates and alienates you from the living, loving being you actually and naturally are. Here are the 5 methods. Method number 1. Memorize the 12 pathways and use them to guide you through your daily life situations. When you learn to use them, you will find that the 12 pathways furnish you with a complete solution to every emotional problem in your life. But to benefit maximally from them, you must intuitively use them on the deepest levels of awareness. Once you have memorized them, say them before getting up in the morning and before going to sleep at night. This may increase your probability of realizing the 4th center of consciousness in a year or two instead of many years or even decades. Whenever you feel worried, angry, jealous, fearful, anxious, impatient, or any other uncomfortable emotional feeling, life is giving you a message. It is always telling you that you are not following the 12 pathways. Your next step is to find the ones that you are using, or rather that you are not using, and let them show you what to do to feel beautiful again. Stop churning over the usual questions that you ask yourself, which have not helped you find solutions. If these usual ways of talking to yourself were effective, you would be happy, peaceful, serene, and loving here and now. Instead of using your past ways of talking to yourself, just keep going over the 12 pathways. Remember that their purpose is to keep you centered, tuned in, conscious, and loving. They are not designed to help you manipulate the people and things around you to make them fit your inside addictions. The 12 pathways will help you reprogram your mind so that all of your addictions become preferences, and then you can live peacefully. The more you are uptight, the more important it is for you to stop worrying about the outside condition that you feel, quote unquote, makes you upset. Instead, concentrate on the inner addictions or expectations with which you hassle yourself with. The 12 pathways will show you what it means to be truly alive. You will look back at your present state of consciousness and realize that you have been far more dead than alive. You've been far more dead than alive. Everything you need will come to you in a seemingly miraculous fashion as you live life with these pathways. The peace, the love, the effectiveness that you have always wanted will finally be yours. Method number 2. Be aware at all times of which center of consciousness you are experiencing. You will discover that working on your consciousness is the most fulfilling thing you can ever do in your life. Whether you are driving a car, reading a book, or even caught in an addictive argument with someone, you can always add to the beauty of your outside drama if you are constantly aware of which center of consciousness you are using in that moment. Everything you do has aspects on all levels of consciousness. We can enjoy life on all levels and not just be hung up on the lower 3 centers. For example, if you are making love, you can be aware of security aspects, the security center, or you can just enjoy the groovy feelings, the sensation center. Or you can be conscious of the submissive or the submission of or control aspects, the power center. You can be aware of lovemaking as an act of pure acceptance of another and an experience of unconditional love, the love center. The act of lovemaking is another manifestation of the way the world offers you everything you need, the cornucopia center. Or you can watch the entire drama from your center of centers, the conscious awareness center. As you constantly up-level the center of consciousness that you are experiencing, you will find that each time you go up one center of consciousness, you interact with more and more people. You will also liberate more and more energy. For example, if you are totally preoccupied with security, you will not have much energy for seeking sensations and power. If you cannot feel close to people when your consciousness is concerned solely with your security, and you cannot feel close to people when your consciousness is concerned solely with your security, on this level, people are objects to be manipulated. You find increasing involvement with people and increasing energy as you up level to the sensation center, the power center, and then to the love center and the cornucopia center. Each center generates more energy and lets you relate to more people than the previous center. Each center opens the door to an increased enrichment of your life. Your awareness of which center of consciousness you are experiencing and your use of the 12 pathways to continually guide you are the living love way to meditate. All you do, and you do this all the time in your busy life so that your entire life becomes a living meditation. In the living love way, meditation is not a holy ritual to be performed once or twice a day in a prescribed manner in a prescribed environment. Rather, it is a method for consistently seeing things clearly and consciously as they are, here and now. Method number 3. Become more consciously conscious of the cause and effect relationship between your addictions and the resulting unhappiness. To tune into the enormous effectiveness of the living love way, it is essential that you become increasingly conscious of each of your addictions and the way it generates a series of events that make you suffer. It is important that you notice how each addiction involves your ego and your rational mind, which, instead of letting go of the addiction, begins to churn out a quote-unquote rational solution, which triggers yet another round of problems in your life. Changes leading to happiness come most rapidly when you can fully engage both your ego and rational mind, two of the most powerful faculties in the game of helping you eliminate each addiction. Many addictions will rapidly melt away as soon as you consciously experience that the suffering they cause is actually due to the addiction. Some of the deeper addictions that were programmed into your biocomputer with pain during the first 2 or 3 years of your life require more inner work and more quote-unquote living through to fully experience the extensive ramifications of patterns of suffering that they bring into your life. The key to the third method is to consciously connect all of the suffering in your life with the addictive, emotion-backed models and expectations that you keep telling yourself you must have to be happy. This method is so basic and fundamental that it is difficult to overstate its importance. If you are extremely upset and you don't remember the pathways, the 7 centers of consciousness, or any other method, this third method that calls for pinpointing the addiction and connecting it with the unhappiness and suffering in your life in the moment should be able to help you become conscious again. Resolve now that you will never again let your ego and rational mind try to convince you that the outside world is doing it to you, that others are somehow the cause of your suffering. Whenever you lay the responsibility for your emotional feelings on the people and things around you, you perpetuate your entrapment in your security, sensation, and power programming. To break loose from these lower consciousness traps, you must always take full responsibility for everything that you are experiencing and get to work as quickly as possible on the addiction that causes you to reject emotionally what people are doing or saying, or what they are not doing or not saying. By taking full responsibility, you give your ego and rational mind an entirely different direction in which to operate. They begin to work on helping you to reprogram instead of egging you on to manipulate and fight the people in your life. This changed direction of regard from the outside world to your own inner programming is the key to benefiting from this unusually rapid method of consciousness growth. To repeat that last phrase, this changed direction of regard from the outside world to your own inner programming is the key to benefiting from this unusually rapid method of consciousness growth. If you become an expert at pinpointing in the moment the addiction that you are using to trigger your fear, anger, grief, resentment, jealousy, impatience, hatred, whatever it is, within several months, you may be able to enjoy the fourth center of consciousness much of the time. Your energy, perceptiveness, and love will soar to create a new you. At the Living Love Center, we have a printed card that we use in our pathway circle of exercises. This card outlines the shortcut procedure for liberating yourself from your addictions. It reads, to be free, number 1, explore the suffering. Number 2, pinpoint the addiction. Number 3, reprogram the addiction. Number 4, the suffering stops. Maybe you can see this. Apologies if it's not in focus. To become competent in applying the third method, you should develop your own technique for becoming aware of which addiction is causing you to feel alienated from the here and now in your life. You may wish to ask yourself such questions as, what is happening right now? In answering this, do not use your rational mind or your ego to justify, intellectualize, or interpret. Just give the facts of what is happening, such as who, what, when, where, and how. Ask, what specific emotion am I experiencing? In answering this, tell what you feel, not what you think. Tell what you feel and not what you think. Words that describe emotional feelings are anxious, hatred, bored, lonely, shy, irritable, impatient, annoyed, frustrated, confused, sad, depressed, disappointed, worried, afraid, resentful, hostile, angry, jealous, grief-filled, guilty, tense, nervous, embarrassed, and etc. Ask yourself, what am I telling myself right now? What pains or tensions are being evoked in my body at this very moment? What does my posture and face look like? What is the dance that my rational mind is doing to prove me right and everyone else wrong? What do I want to change in the outside world instead of doing the inner work of changing my own response to it? What sort of phony front is my ego trying to maintain? What past events were particularly painful so as to give my biocomputer this programming that makes me upset when a similar event happens? Have I suffered enough? Do I really want to be free from checks, or do I really want to be free from this automatic response whenever the here and now of my life checks me out? Exactly what am I rejecting in the here and now? What am I rejecting about myself? What threats does this person or situation present or represent to me? What is the worst that could happen? Could I accept this and still be happy? What am I defending? What am I hiding? What is it about me that I think people can't love? What do I imagine the other person is thinking? What mask am I wearing? And that may become very obvious if you're still wearing any sort of facial occlusion. That's not in the text, it's my own little side entry. What dances are my pride and my prestige making me perform? What am I demanding in order to feel happy and enough of myself, of others, of the outside world? What is this model, or what model do I have of the way I should be treated? What model do I have of the way I should be treated? What is the model of the way I should be treated? And what are the specific details of the model that I have of the way of the world let me rephrase that. What are the specific details of the model that I have of the way the world should be in order for me to be accepting, loving, and flowing? What center of consciousness am I operating out of? If a magic genie were to appear at this very moment and the genie had the power to alter the situation exactly as I instruct, what request would I make of this genie? Once you have pinpointed the addiction, your next step is to reprogram it into a preference. When you reprogram, you use your will and determination to give clear, firm operating instructions to your biocomputer, aka your subconscious mind. You tell it that you want it to function in a different way in processing incoming data in the future. This means that with intensity and conviction, you put a new operating instruction into your mind. Reprogramming works most effectively if you repeat the reprogramming instruction many, many, many times. In the next chapter, which deals with consciousness focusing, we provide additional information on how to give a quote-unquote knockout punch to your heavier addictions. Always remember that the key to using the third method is to look deeply within yourself to find the emotion-backed demand that you are using to upset yourself. It's this simple. Just become more consciously conscious of the cause and effect relationship between your addictions and the resulting unhappiness, and you will be on the escalator that can take you directly to the fourth center of consciousness. Method number 4. Use the catalyst, always us living love, as a tool for cognitive centering. Your growth into higher consciousness can be more rapid if you keep a catalyst going in your mind as a foreground figure against which all of your sensations, feelings, and thoughts are the background. This constant repetition helps you to calm your mind, to increase the powers of concentration, to broaden your perceptions, and to permit your intuitive wisdom to emerge, and to free you from your addictions, and to keep you feeling great. The catalyst, always us living love, can be slowly and silently repeated to enable you to continuously tune in to that part of you that does not see others as him, her, or them, but always as us. Oneness is yours when you feel everyone as only us. When you see things through the eyes of others and feel things within their psychic space as though it were your own. After you have accumulated several hours of experience with the catalyst, you will probably feel its vibrations and implications on deeper and deeper, subtler levels. Since only one thing can receive your full attention at any one time, this centering technique can crowd out negative thoughts and feelings and replace them with the vibrations of living love. This enables you to control your racing mind stuff whenever you wish. A repeated phrase constantly recaptures your attention. It's basically a mantra. The catalyst or the mantra, always us living love, may be used to change your mood in a positive way. When you are disturbed or have an upsetting experience, you can repeat this phrase over and over until you feel calm and centered. Through consistent practice, it will develop increasingly greater effectiveness. This tool for cognitive centering can be most effective if you, number one, consecutively emphasize each of the words as follows. Always us living love. Always us living love. Always us living love. If you say it aloud, open your mouth and throat when you say the word all. Feel it resonate in your heart. Let the whole world flow into your openness. If you say it silently, feel this openness. That was number 2. Number 3, say or sing each word lovingly and caressingly. Singing, oh, thank you, kind friend. Singing is usually more effective in calming the mind than just speaking, for it leaves little or no space on the screen of your consciousness for random thoughts. Number 4, almost from the first time you use it, the catalyst or the mantra may be so effective at bringing peace and quietness to your mind that it may be best not to drive your car or operate dangerous machinery until you have gained experience in using it. With experience, you will be able to adjust your use of it so that you will have the energy and perceptiveness for here and now activities without becoming inattentive. Number 5, one who is seriously working on consciousness growth may use or may wish to use the catalyst for 30 minutes a day for at least 1 month in order to become proficient in its use. It then becomes an effective consciousness tool that is available when needed. At times of great stress, one may find it useful to use it over and over continuously throughout the day. To increase your perceptiveness of people, you may wish to use the catalyst as you look into their faces. This helps you get behind your games and their games to the place where we are just loving beings. You may wish to avoid eye-to-eye contact, as this can involve ego. Quote, I can look at you more penetratingly than you can look at me, for example. Instead, find a small patch of light at the bridge of the nose between the eyes that is created by most lighting conditions. When your eyes fixed on this spot, experience the many changes in the face that are perceived as you run the catalyst. And method number 5, it's called consciousness focusing. One of the most powerful of the living love methods is the technique of consciousness focusing. This method is explained in detail in the next 2 chapters. Until we meet again.